G'day, Simon here from Thermometer Ipswich. Today we're going to do a comparison on travel cups. A lot of people are always wondering how good your travel cups go and whatnot, and so today we're going to do a comparison. We have a generic one, which is one of my dodgy old ones from home, and one of these two I'm going to purchase depending on the outcome of this test. So we have the Klean Kanteen travel cup, and we also have the Yeti travel cup. Okay, so here we go. So the 3 travel cups, are going to fill these with boiling water. Nearly spilled it. Okay, and we've got this meat thermometer here that we're going to use to test these. So as you can see there on your left, we have the probe temperature, so we'll just show you that now. So we're going to start at, should be near 100 degrees. Alrighty, so I'll just drop that into the next one. Should be much the same. Oh, it's hotter already. Jumping around. So they're all virtually boiling. We'll write those numbers down to start with, and then we'll come back in 2 hours and we'll test them again. Okay, so here we are. It's been 2 hours. So now we're going to do a test of each of the travel cups. So I'm just going to try and keep the lid on this as much as I can. This will take a couple of minutes with our trusty thermometer. Okay, so we can see that the generic cup has already dropped down to 47 degrees. So that's not bad if you want to drink your coffee quickly. So we'll write that down. Alrighty, straight into the Klean Kanteen. Oh, it's still steaming, so let's check that out. So the Klean Kanteen's still at 78 degrees, so that's a massive difference compared to the generic cup. Let's check this Yeti out. Just open the mag slide lid on that, which is really convenient. See how this one goes. So the Yeti is there at 72 degrees. Okay, so at the 2 hour mark, we've got the generic down to 47 degrees already. The Klean Kanteen at 78 degrees, which is really good, and 72 degrees out of the Yeti. So yeah, the two new ones that we have here are holding up pretty well. So we'll check again in 2 hours time and we'll see where we're at. Okay, so here we are at the 4 hour mark. It's 2:30 in the afternoon. Good time for a coffee. I've got to get grumpy if my coffee's not hot, so let's just see how we go. We'll test the generic one. Don't think this is going to be real good from my experience with it. The way it's feeling at the moment, it's quite cold. So 33 degrees, so that's pretty well done. That's not hot enough to have a coffee out of, not even close. So I think we're done with that one. We won't test that one again today. So we'll check the Klean Kanteen. Still steaming. So we'll see where that goes. Yep, so I think the generic one at 2 hours was probably still okay, but well and truly done by 4 hours. Okay, so the Klean Kanteen's at 70 degrees after 4 hours, so that's really impressive. I'm pretty happy with that. Let's see where the Yeti one's at. Screw that back on so it doesn't affect the test. Hopefully won't be too far behind. Alright, so the Yeti's at 61 degrees, so significantly less. So I think it's got a lot to do with the top cap that's on the Klean Kanteen, to be honest. So we'll test this again at 6 hours, and we'll present our findings after that, and we'll see which one's the best. Okay, so it's now just gone 4:30 in the afternoon, getting a bit late in the day. Hopefully my coffee's still going to be hot, so we're going to check this out. So as we did in the last test, we discarded the generic one because it was basically at room temperature anyway. So we'll check the Klean Kanteen and the Yeti one more time, and then we'll check out the results. So unscrew the cap, just leave that open now. Still feels pretty warm in there. Certainly not steaming as much as it was. Alright, so 62 degrees, so after 6 hours, 62 degrees, if that's your coffee, 62 degrees, that's still quite hot. Like you wouldn't be able to, you'd have to drink it in smaller amounts, that's for sure. So that's really impressive. So I'm pretty happy with that. I don't think the Yeti's gonna, based on what we saw before, will be quite that good, but still it's going to be a pretty good show. And so the Yeti's at 56 degrees, so still really hot. Like that's very drinkable at 56 degrees. I'm more than happy to drink coffee at 56 degrees. Into the 60s is obviously probably a bit more how you'd have it normally. We'll sum up the figures in a second, but I think this is the one I'm buying. Okay, so here we go with the final comparisons. So we've got our generic cup. Look, at 2 hours, 47 degrees. You can almost call that lukewarm. It's almost gone at that stage, so it's sort of good for an hour or maximum 2. And then we go to the Klean Kanteen where 78 degrees at 2 hours is still undrinkable. It's too hot. And then at 4 hours, 70 degrees, yeah, still a little bit too hot. And so at 6 hours, it's still very drinkable. The Yeti not too far behind. Once again, 72 degrees, probably a little too hot to drink at 2 hours. And then a bit more reasonable at 4 and 6 hours. So total loss there, 68 degrees in 6 hours for the generic cup, 34 degrees for the Klean Kanteen, which is just insane. That's such a good result. And the Yeti Rambler at 40, which is also a really good result. Given the different lid combinations of the Yeti and the Klean Kanteen, that's a pretty good result for the Yeti as well. So yeah, this is my new Klean Kanteen.